Now, when people say incense, it's so easy for your imagination to run wild. You think of frankincense, which is olibanum. You might think of myrrh or elemi or apopanax or labdanum or copal or tolu balsam. There's so many incensey resinous ingredients. What I've done in today's video is I have taken 10 of the best incense fragrances that you can get your hands on. I'm excited to share this list with you, so make sure to stay tuned. Now, before I begin today's video and I tell you about these 10 amazing incense fragrances, some of the best that money could buy and some of the best that you could personally get your hands on, I want to start things off by saying that if you're a fan of fragrance-related content like reviews, top 10s, giveaways, and more, please do consider supporting the channel by subscribing to it. Hit the bell icon so you could be notified whenever I do upload future videos to the channel, and give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it or if you took something of value from today's episode. It would really mean a lot to me. So when it comes to incense, I'm personally a fan of the genre. I have a lot of incense-based fragrances, whether we're talking about olibanum or apopanax, and throughout the course of this review, I'm going to be revealing fragrances and I'm going to be telling you about other incense-based fragrances that didn't necessarily make it onto this list because I was trying to limit it to just 10 bottles. But the first one that I want to talk about is by Etat Libre d'Orange, and it's called Spice Must Flow. Now there's another Etat Libre d'Orange fragrance called INCENSE et Bubblegum. So that one is a bit on the sweeter side of things, as you can imagine from the name. This one, however, is cardamom, rose, and incense. So if you like that sort of exotic, spicy, floral thing that a lot of fragrances could have happening in them, and I've smelled a lot of spicy rose fragrances in my lifetime, this is another one, but with incense in the dry down. Really spectacularly well done. I've done a video on this one. I don't quite remember if I reviewed it. I think I did, but I've certainly featured it in lists before. So Spice Must Flow. The next fragrance has incense, and this is a house that has done incense so many times in the past. Another one from this house, we're talking about Xerjoff here. Another one from this house that I really like that is incense driven is the fragrance Gao, which is part of the Oud Stars line. This one, however, is Golden Mocha. So this one has blood orange, mandarin, lemon, there is oud, there's coffee, and then of course residing underneath everything is that bed of incense that is done so remarkably well. Truly one of my favorites. Here we have a fragrance that also has a bit of like a coffee vibe to it. There's cognac in here as well. It's boozy, it's dark, it's green, it's resinous. By Tiziana Terenzi, it's called Laudano Nero. Now this is an Italian brand, and this fragrance in particular gets compared a lot to Black Afghano by Nasomato. Now, I don't know if that fragrance necessarily has an incense ingredient listed anywhere because Nasomato doesn't like to reveal note breakdowns for any of their fragrances. And as a prerequisite to making onto this list, I wanted the brand themselves to say, yes, it contains incense. So that is kind of how I am, finding ways to include fragrances onto this list. Laudano Nero certainly lists incense as an ingredient. This next one I truly love. I think it's going to become a little bit harder to find. This one by Inicio Parfum Privé is called Magnetic Blend Number 8. So this one has a very simple note breakdown. You are looking at pheromone, musk, and frankincense. But there's something about this fragrance that kind of reminds me of the smell of ginger. I really like this one. It's a spicy frankincense, but with a fresh twist, which is something that a lot of these other fragrances on this list don't necessarily do. This one I really like. That sort of like gingery twist that it has going on in it. Ginger is not listed as a note, but I really do like that sort of frankincense vibe that it has going on for it. We also have Puritas by Electimus London, and this fragrance has a really natural smelling frankincense note. So if you want to feel like you are in a place of worship, Puritas is going to do that for you. This is a very tranquil, meditative type of a scent. It's a little bit on the more simplistic side of things. There are really complex fragrances like Golden Mocha is incredibly complex, and that touch of coffee is just so delightful. Puritas is a little bit more on the simple, tranquil, serene side of things, and I really enjoy that too. We also have by Parfum d'Empire, we have Wazamba. Wazamba is a fragrance that I fell in love with many years ago. As a matter of fact, towards like late 2011, early 2012 is when I initially discovered it, and I acquired a bottle last year finally after wanting it for many years, almost an entire decade basically. And this fragrance is an amazing fragrance that has, I think, Somalian incense, and it has tons of ingredients from Africa, the continent of Africa. And Wazamba is just an incredible fragrance. Certainly one of the best ones that, you know, the industry has to offer. If you're a fan of incense and you haven't tried Wazamba, what are you waiting for? You must try this one. No questions asked. Of course, we have a really big heavy hitter. Everybody knows this one. You cannot make an incense list and not talk about this fragrance. By Amouage, this is called Interlude for Men. Honor Man has incense in it. Epic for Men has incense in it. Jubilation 25 has a Papanax in it, which is a type of incense. But Interlude for Men is a holy grail. It's incredibly long-lasting. The agarwood, the smoke, the oregano, it's herbal, but it's dark, it's spicy, it's complex. It has this warm, dry down with those sweet exotic resins that come through hours after the initial application. Interlude for Men. There's a reason why people call it the Blue Beast. And then we have a fragrance composed by Aurélien Guichard. This one is called INCENSE Suave by Matière Première. This is coffee, vanilla, and incense. What an amazing combination. Kind of along the same lines as Golden Mocha, but this one really does things in a much different way. Golden Mocha is a bit spicier, even though it does have the coffee and some sweet tones. This one doesn't really have that spice per se, but it has this beautiful incense ingredient in there. And with that, we are left with two more fragrances, and these two I have been loving so much as of late. The first one is by Filippo Sorcinelli, and it's called Unum Labs. This fragrance is an incredibly spicy incense-based fragrance. I personally get a lot of frankincense from this fragrance. It's not listed in the note breakdown. You will see LME resin, you will see labdanum, you will see a bunch of other resinous ingredients. I personally don't see frankincense, so that kind of surprised me. But with this fragrance, you do get a lot of spices. Black pepper, cloves, coriander, cardamom, really spicy. But then you also have a bit of oak moss and rosewood in the base. So it definitely gives off a bit of an earthy, woodsy vibe, but the incense really sits at the heart of this fragrance. It is definitely the spiciest out of all of the fragrances here. The darkest and the smokiest would be Interlude for Men. The sweetest would probably be INCENSE Suave by Matière Première. The most floral one would be Spice Must Flow by Etat Libre d'Orange. The most exotic one would probably be Wazamba by Parfum d'Empire. And obviously I love the freshness of Magnetic Blend 8 by Inicio Parfum. And Laudano Nero is an amazing one, a little bit derivative I would say, but the number one spot has to go to the best incense fragrance on the market. There is no other fragrance, and I would like to mention a few honorable mentions. We have Cardinal by Healy. We also have Full Incense by Montal, but those are all very similar to this next fragrance, but this one really pioneered the sort of incense fragrances as of late. This fragrance really smells like the inside of a Roman Catholic church. It will remind you of a place of worship. It's so long-lasting, so tranquil and meditative, and it just connects you with the earth and the universe. It's a beautiful fragrance. And this one by Comme des Garçons, part of the Incense series, composed by Bertrand Duchaufour out of Paris, France, is called Incense Avignon, Series 3. What an amazing fragrance. If you say you love incense, but you don't own this fragrance, it's a bit paradoxical, bordering on hypocritical. I'm sorry to say that, but this is such an amazing incense fragrance. And in my humble opinion, every incense lover has to have a bottle of this in their collection. If you don't have a bottle, you need to have a sample just for reference purposes, right? You have guests over, you want to, show them what an incense fragrance truly smells like. And there's something so remarkably special about Incense Sauvignon by Comme des Garçons. And, I wouldn't doubt it if somebody had told me, an industry professional had told me, hey, Steven, half of these fragrances were actually inspired or took some sort of inspiration from this one. I would say, I certainly believe it, because this is a pioneer. Thank you so much for watching. Are you a fan of incense? Let me know. Leave your comment down below. What kind of incense ingredient do you enjoy the most? Is it olibanum? Is it copal? Is it opopanax? Is it myrrh? Is it elemi? Let me know. Always interested to hear from my subscribers. I love the interaction. Also, if you enjoyed this video or if you found any aspect of this video informative in any way, please do consider showing your support by subscribing to the channel. Hit the bell and give it a like. Love you guys. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye.